So a lot of people get really angry when I suggest that God's love is so expansive that it actually encompasses all of creation, all people. I hold to this radical concept that there are no bad guys, just as there are no good guys, that there are only human beings who are capable of great good and also great evil. Now, some human beings, fall into patterns that are different from other human beings. The more that we practice, the more we become what we practice. That's certainly true. But I believe that everybody is capable of being redeemed. That I feel is a core Christian belief. And a lot of people, they don't like that because they need somebody to be angry with and they need somebody to be against. They need an enemy. But I feel that when Jesus said we're to love our enemies, what he's really trying to say is that, you know, we shouldn't have enemies. Not that there aren't things that we stand against, not that there aren't certain practices and policies and acts of evil that we wouldn't stand against. Certainly we need to stand against that, but that we wouldn't stand against people, that we should all be working for life and light for all people. And if you ask me what my politics are, I will tell you that I am for living and thriving for all people, regardless. And if somebody messes up and commits harm against the community, I am for addressing that from a point of restorative justice. That is, we're seeking to restore that person to the community if at all possible. Not punitive, not just punishing them, but actually trying to restore that person to the community. And this is a very biblical position. It's a very Christ-like position to take. In a couple weeks, I'm going to be preaching on the prodigal son, and that story is all about redeeming somebody who was lost, who went astray, and welcoming them back into the family and making them fully a part of the family. Okay, and a brother who did everything right to begin with, getting really jealous and upset that this brother of his is receiving grace. So look, I get that people might not like it, and I am absolutely not for cheap grace. I am not for suggesting that, this forgive and forget mentality. In that same story, the son who went astray still has to be held accountable because he still has spent all of his money and he's not getting anything more. The father says to the other brother, look, all that I have left, it's all yours. He already spent his share. But we still had to celebrate because your brother was lost and now he's found. So I tell my kids this, because I think this is part of the problem. This is part of where we are, is that we grew up believing in good guys versus bad guys, and now half the country thinks that they're the good guy and the other half is the bad guy. Okay? We think they're the bad guys, they think we're the bad guys. And that's part of our problem. We need to recognize that even the people on quote-unquote our side are capable of committing evil. And we need to be willing and able to call out evil wherever it manifests. But at the end of the day, we still need to work to ensure the living and thriving of all God's creatures, all of creation, all people, in all times and all places. I really don't think this should be a controversial position. I mean, we can disagree about how to go about it. Personally, politically, I think we need to stand up to bullies like Russia and support our allies like Ukraine. I think that is the necessary thing that we have to do to ensure life for the most amount of people. I think there's enough to go around in this nation for anybody who wants to come here and participate in our society to be able to do that without having to jump through all of these hoops and hurdles and still get arrested and detained and deported, even though they're still making their appointed immigration court dates. I think we should let people who are lesbian, who are gay, who are bisexual, who are trans live their own life and do what they want to do, including serve in our armed forces. I think we have enough resources to feed hungry children 3 square meals a day. I think we should have health care available for all people, regardless of your ability to pay, and you shouldn't have to make the impossible decision on whether to go to the hospital or hope that it's nothing more than a stomach ache, right? I think we should let mothers make sometimes impossible, heart-wrenching decisions about planning their family, while at the same time investing publicly in sex education and contraception in order to reduce the rates of abortion. I think we should put laws and regulations in place to make sure that people, who are working full-time job should have enough money to be able to have a place to live where they work. I think these are very Christian, biblical positions. And it pains me that this is not what people think when they think of Christians. That instead they think of hatred and judgment and, right now, quite frankly, just pure nastiness. It really saddens me the way that the church at large has so completely distorted Jesus to where most people outside the church don't want anything to do with him. But let me just tell you, that is not the Jesus that I worship. This is the Jesus I worship. He humbled himself. He stood up and spoke truth to power, and he got himself killed because of it. He didn't try to throw his weight around. He had all the power in the world. He could have made all of the quote-unquote sinners pay dearly. He could have toppled the Roman government. I mean, he could have really come in and done what all of you other Christians think he should have done, but he didn't, did he? No. He humbled himself. He gave himself up in love so that everybody might have life and life to the full. That's what he said. I have come so that they might have life and life to the fullest. That's my position as a Christian. You can hate me for it. I don't care. I'm secure in my faith. If that's what you stand for as well, you might be a bit more of a Jesus follower than you think.